Of all the contentious topics I feel like I could speak on, I think this is the one that I'm built for most. Not because I'm an expert, but because I'm a man.
You are?
Yeah. I'm a man.
Who also happily studies statistics quite often. And I think we can all agree on something pretty generic, which is that a pretty woman who has a decent physique is always going to get more money, more views, and more attraction in the general public eye compared to the alternative. It's clear to me that at least in any field that you see this happening in real time, current day even, with all the wokeism being in our environments and cultures, we still see that the prevailing thread is attractive women make more money in video games, in movies, etc. But let's just dig into this little communal activity done in this video that I'm going to be talking about because it enraged me and I'm an absolute simp apparently.
Fit women are more attractive than fat women. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I would definitely agree. Fit women are more attractive than like plus size women, only because me having this body, it shows that I can commit to something, right? And it shows that I'm hardworking, so I feel like men looking at my body can see, oh, okay, she's dedicated. She put in the work, and that could be an attractive quality that men see in me.
So she is saying that her physique is a representation of hard work, and that can project itself to a man who's interested in another person. And I think this is a very clear and obvious feature of being quite fit. The nice thing about being jacked or being fit is that it's not going to be bought. You can't simply just go to the store and buy it with enough money. You can't will your way to a good physique. You actually have to go through the motions of doing the things every single day for a very prolonged period of time. And oh, there's gonna be some fucking guy who's like, steroids. Okay, cool. If you took all the steroids in the world, you could do this right now, and you just sat at home and did nothing, ate the same shit, did the same shit, and changed nothing about your life, all the performance-enhancing drugs in the world wouldn't change your body. Now get ready for the woke cretin comment about the 1996 study from Boston et al., which was basically where they titrated male doses of testosterone all the way up to 600 milligrams of testosterone without them having done any form of activity, and they saw that some of those individuals had gained about 14 pounds of lean muscle mass. But please, brother, do something for me. Take 600 milligrams of testosterone, watch yourself grow woman tits, and then do nothing. You'll find that, oh my god, I didn't change at all. Those men didn't get leaner, and I think this is the big conflating feature here. They stayed just as fat, but they just put some lean muscle on their bodies, and these were chronically under-muscled people before the study. So seriously, you can't buy a physique. You have to work for it. You have to commit to habits. They're daily, weekly, yearly habits. Every fucking day on that calendar needs to be X'd off to achieve a certain type of body. And this isn't to say that it's some insurmountable task to be healthy and fit or even jacked, because the tasks that you have to do aren't extreme. Anyone can do them. They're easy and reproducible. That's the funny thing about it. The tasks don't require some crazy amount of discipline or work ethic. It really is just easy tasks that you stack up continuously and you're conscious of as you move through your life over time. That is attractive. Self-consciousness, self-awareness, having the ability to self-limit. I don't want the mother of my child to be unable to stop eating and develop diabetes, which is very common within the United States, but a complete absent thing in other countries because she couldn't stop eating garbage. Not only affecting her, but affecting the children who will now be predisposed to diabetes for the rest of their life because of what she had done.
I think all women are beautiful. I've had relationship with women that are fit, that are not fit, variety.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
And I can tell you that personality-wise, the skinniest ones and the most beautiful ones have had a personality that I cannot work with. Me, personally, me.
Maybe this is actually because she's insecure of herself and the things that she does. And when she's near someone who is fit, it holds a mirror back in her own face and shows her her insignificancies and why she's not where she wants to be, but that's a hard pill to swallow. That, by the way, this is all things that she would have control over. The fit person being in her life wouldn't necessarily be showing her this mirror and saying, you have to do the work. No, it's just simple choices that she could make, but of course, the other alternative is that she could remain comfortable and happy and fat, but also die significantly younger.
Your physical looks will disappear.
Where have yours gone? They seem to be sticking around like margarine. Seriously, your body is something you will always wake up and see. You will be the closest person to your body for the rest of your life. To let your body crumble and say that it's fine, looks don't matter, is absolutely beyond me. Yes, your looks are finite. No one's arguing that point. Of course, you're not always going to be jacked and a fitness model and all of these things. But the habits that make that physique are forever. The values that embody looking a specific way are forever. And those will stick with you and transcend the dimension of time. If someone generally eats well, takes care of themselves, and works out at a younger age and continues to do that through their older ages, what can you imagine to see? A much fitter older person, as well as someone who's actually going to have longevity to their lifespan, be able to take care of their kids and be able to take care of themselves and not depend on society to take care of them for themselves. Again, it means that someone in your life isn't going to have to cry because you passed away due to your own inability to stop putting food in your mouth. You chose not to take care of yourself, and therefore you face the consequences that impacted other people's lives. A fat fucking L here, quite literally.
My grandma, she used to be a very petite, tiny woman, grew up in the Philippines. My grandpa the same way. Now they're a little bigger, they're more comfortable. 50 years later, still in love.
Yeah.
My grandpa always makes jokes. Like, when I remember growing up, he was like, this is Burger King and this is McDonald's. I'm the king and I'm loving it. And I'm like, that's my grandpa. He showed me, like, you can appreciate a woman through all the changes.
I mean, sure, if you're also getting obese with her, this makes sense. If we reverse the roles and he took care of himself and she didn't, I don't think he would be saying the same thing at all. Ultimately, I believe that her father is using her mother as a scapegoat for being a glutton. Because she does it, it's easy for him to stick with it as well.
I think people like to be like, oh, it's always going to be the fit woman is more attractive than the plus size woman. I just don't think that's true. Like, there's a lot of beautiful fit women. There's also a lot of not very beautiful ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? To assume that size will always equal more attractive, I just think is like silly. It's a case by case basis.
Look, while there are some moon-faced baddies out there, this doesn't mean that they're less attractive than obese humans. For one, the moon-faced baddie can still take care of herself pretty damn good. Even if her face is beat up, she can still leverage her strengths and take care of herself. And for two, she can take care of herself and doesn't have to depend on other people taking care of her for her. Why in the fuck would anyone want a female in their lives who can't take care of herself? They can't handle their own health, they can't self-limit, be self-conscious of what they're eating, consuming, and putting into their body, doing with their body, being self-conscious of their own slow deterioration. I don't want to be subjected to that kind of person. That is a very negative and honestly gross place to be. I mean, truly, it's disgusting. For three, the reason that sex sells isn't because a gal's face, let's be honest. It's 99.9% her body. And even if she is ugly, at least I can pick her up and, you know, be the man.
Well, you can be thin and not healthy.
Yeah,
Let's be clear.
yeah,
exactly.
But the biggest issue I have with what you said, I disagree with you. I think as a fit girl as well.
The thing the Asian girl's thinking right now is, damn, she really said that she's fit. That's crazy.
I still disagree with you because there's beautiful women who are in bigger bodies. And the biggest issue I have was what you said about men being attracted to you more just because you're fit. I think that that's basing your worth on a man. And I'm married, as a married woman saying that, I just don't understand what that has to do with the principle of just physical attractiveness. That has nothing to do with if someone else deems you as attractive. It's like just solely based on the physical. So I 100% disagree with you.
This girl was so ratioed in the comments. She was so obliterated in the comments. Like, there was at least 6 comments about her that got over 50,000 likes. So I'm not even gonna comment on it because it's blatant insanity.
I was debating actually stepping forward because of just what society has taught me my whole life is like, thin is more beautiful, thin is more beautiful, thin is more beautiful. And I've really had to work on unlearning that, like, for so many years. I was like, oh, the reason I'm not in a relationship is because I'm fat. Like, I need to lose weight and then I'll become in a relationship, then someone will love me. And I thought that for so many years.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
I don't think there'll be enough years in your lifespan to learn that. There isn't really actually any unlearning here to be done. The reason that people say that it's unhealthy or that it's unattractive is because, quite clearly, it is the leading cause of death in America, or at least one of the comorbidities that is going to correlate to the cause of death in America. I mean, biologically speaking, if I have a selection of females, I am not going to pick the one that's most likely to die if she is going to be the mother to my child. Have you actually seen obese women and their rates of miscarriages? It's quite awful. And the reason that it's perpetuated in society isn't because it's bad or it's vulgar and people like saying vulgar things. It's because it is extremely unhealthy. I mean, I don't even know where people are pulling this out of to try to justify this. It's no different than saying, well, I'm going to date this alcoholic. I accept the fact that they're going to be abusive, highly psychologically unstable, waste money, and likely die very soon, but I can't judge them for their behaviors. What?
What the fuck? No!
I mean, I wouldn't look at a girl who's extremely attractive by physical standards, but has a bottle of booze tied to her hand at all hours of the day and call that attractive. That to me is disgusting behavior, and I would never associate with it. I think anyone would look at that and be completely clear that that is objectively unhealthy, that is objectively disgusting behavior, and I don't want to be surrounded by it. Being obese and even being overweight is self-destructive. Any doctor would tell you this. Any health coach who has a very professional background, including myself, would tell you this. And if not, I'll tell you. Statistically speaking, you are actually more likely to die of obesity, if you are, of course, are already obese, than any other natural or non-natural cause of death. If you were to get your BMI down to a healthy human standard, your chance of death would be reduced by almost 85%. What the fuck? How can you argue that that's completely attractive versus the alternative? I would much rather have a mate who's 85% less likely to die.
I have dated some fantastically gorgeous men, but when I feel most comfortable and myself and I can feel just kind of let it all out is a guy that's has some cushion. Gym people for gym people. And, and that kind of seems like unattainable, not my vibe.
This is just self-exposing here. What she's saying is that she could date a fit man if she wanted to, which means that she might actually find them a better option, but because she feels insecure about her weight and lifestyle, she doesn't. So suddenly it makes more plus-size people more attractive because they embrace your bad behaviors and lifestyle. It's just such a flawed way of viewing all of this. It's disgusting. People will go to such lengths to try to justify their own tendencies, their own habits, and their own addictions. Now, I'm not saying fitness is a perfect realm to point at and say that there's no issues there, because you have steroid addictions, which I've talked about so many times on this channel. You have other issues like food eating disorders, which I've talked about so many times on this channel. And you have other issues like working out, like exercise bulimia, essentially, which is, essentially the same thing as bulimia, but exercise excessively versus, whatever. Not a good thing, right? Arguably a very fucking bad thing to be involved with. So I'm not trying to argue the point that fitness is this clean silver lining to life. It's not. There's so many things wrong. But if we're to be objective and look at this with a statistical view, clearly the reason that people are saying overweight or obese people are unattractive is because at a biological level, there is something clearly wrong with that. It is not, very clearly, okay? It is not normal to carry that much fat mass as a human being. We were never supposed to, ever. After thousands of years of evolution, it'd be kind of weird if suddenly we just now preferred overweight people. Furthermore, if I'm to be invested into my future as a human being, which means wealth, stability, a significant other that can handle both wealth and stability, and children, I can really, super easily identify who is going to be good for that. In a sense of, well, if they have a lean body mass index, if they take care of themselves, they're able to probably handle wealth generally better and certainly be able to foster children in a sense of actually like harboring the child in your stomach and then birthing it and then taking care of it much better than the alternative. And just to fall back on that a little bit, the miscarriage rate, and this is posted by the WHO, the World Health Organization, the average miscarriage rate is about 10% in America, okay? If we're looking at the obese population in America, it's 45%. So nearly half of all pregnancies in obese individuals fail. Again, if I'm a father and I want a family and I want a family to prosper, that's not an environment I'm going to try to associate with. And you could argue that sure, this is down to personal choice, but riddle me this. If you have someone who really radically changed their life and they got super, super healthy and they changed their habits, and let's just say they stayed with the same individual who hadn't done those things and was still obese, I would argue that the preference of the person who lost weight, became non-obese and actually healthy, would no longer find that other individual attractive. And the only reason I say this is because, one, logic, but two, I've coached many people into situations where they've radically changed their life, their body weight, and their physiques, and suddenly their significant other no longer wants to be with them, or they don't want to be with their significant other. It's almost a 1-for-1 ratio. Like it almost happens every single time. And the reason that they were together in the first place was because both of them with bad habits coming together allows their bad habits to be normalized. And that, my friends, is the world that we live in today. So yeah, I don't think being obese is attractive, but do you? Maybe you do. Maybe you like them thick girls. Very, very normal, maybe. I don't know.
PAWG, P-A-W-G. Fat ass white girls.
Know what I'm talking about?
What you like, bro?
Yeah.
I like fat ass white girls, the thick time.
Ooh,
the curvy
yeah.
types.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Okay. Yeah.